What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of the Writer's Room. I'm Alan Halas from Breaking and Entering, and I am joined, as always, by the host of the Mr. Nice Guy podcast, our Breaking and Entering River West correspondent, as I've been calling him. Just an all-around great dude, Mr. Ben Slowey. How's it going, Ben?
Thanks again, Alan. It's going all right. Busy week. A lot of stuff going on. Going through some personal changes right now, but think that change is healthy, and I think that change is well timed, kind of going into the colder months here. I think that it's kind of a regrouping period where I'm just sort of reinforcing what my values are and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to work extra hard at the things I'm committed to.
Very cool. Very cool. Always good. It is the time of year for it. I think fall is the reflective time. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's a reason that sweaters and emo music happen around this time, because it is just it's time to kind of regroup a little bit. And I am very much in that phase 2 a little bit. Got some stuff I've been working on. Can't fully disclose what, but we got some stuff. We're always working at Breaking and Entering.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's always something happening in the world of Breaking and Entering, in the world of Mr. Nice Guy. Podcast seems to be up and running pretty smoothly. Things are going well there. Had some good guests on. I saw Desi is up, so I'm excited for that, to watch that episode.
Desi came up earlier today, and she's a wonderful guest, and a really awesome dream pop artist who's really she tells the story of how she kind of lost herself for a while, but then reclaimed herself, and she's doing it in a really unique and special way. In addition to a lot of episodes I have in the chamber right now. The back catalog is getting a bit it's getting a bit jumbled. So I'm trying to stay on pace, trying to get one out a day.
Jesus. The output. So, to backtrack for the people that don't know, Ben and I have been working on Breaking and Entering together for probably a year and a half now. A little bit better, something like that, last January, I think. And I told him, we had an initial meeting at Roast Coffee House on the east side, I believe, at the time.
Yeah.
And Ben and I were talking about, projects that we were working on, and he was telling me that he was launching this Mr. Nice Guy podcast, and I think he was about 6 or 7 episodes in at that point, because I think I was the 7th or 8th episode. And I told him about how I started Breaking and Entering, which was basically creating, as much content as I could, and getting out there and being I just need a post a day. I just need 3 posts a day. And then all of a sudden I see Ben, once he started writing for Breaking and Entering, being he had, 1 thing a day, and I was sweet. And that quickly became, holy shit, Ben is taking over the site with 3 posts on a Monday or something like that, or he had been to 3 or 4 shows, and he had been all over the city, and he's interviewing all these artists, and he has put me to shame. And now we are definitely in full force, the 2 of us, because Ben has been crushing it as of late too, with the articles and the podcast as well. Lots of great things coming out of the Milwaukee music scene, and a lot of new artists that you're introducing even me to. Including this first video that we are going to play. It's from Mayo, and he's been putting out a lot of content so far this year. So this song is called Druggy, and we've played it a lot on Breaking and Entering Radio, so I'm stoked for it. And admittedly, this is the first time in a while that I've seen the video. So shout out to Famous Motion and Photography for the video. It's Mayo, it's Druggy on Breaking and Entering. On the Writer's Room. God, not Breaking and Entering Radio. I'm so used to it. Play the video. Here's the video.
My name is famous. Shout out GCA. I've been in my zone, I've been so high, yeah. Shawty say I'm dope, come do a lie, ayy. Gelato give me wings, think I can fly, yeah. Ayy, yeah. I've been high so long, I lost my mind, yeah. Just a steelo nigga rolling through the night, ayy. Off the drink, I'm in my zone, I come alive, yeah. Off the drugs, they give me wings, think I can fly, ayy. Cream with some gas, now we taking off 24/7. I've been working, ain't no taking off. She dripping in Chanel when shawty lit. Have to take it off. We ain't drinking Fiji in this bitch. We sipping out the Voss, rolling off a spaceship, nigga. Yeah, I'm going to Mars. At the club, taking shots like Swish while we at the bar. Shawty wanna roll and won't be down 'cause we don't act like stars. Baby, come and roll and you'll get lit no matter who you are. T-Lex brought the vibes, now we getting lit. Ay. Demons come alive on the night shift. Yeah, now we fucking under stars. That's a nice stick. Ay. You gon' like this. Ay. Get you right quick. Ay, ay, ay. I've been in my zone, I've been so high, yeah. Shawty say I'm dope, come do a lie, ayy. Gelato give me wings, think I can fly, yeah. Ayy, yeah. I've been high so long, I lost my mind, yeah. Just a steelo nigga rolling through the night. Off the drink, I'm in my zone, I come alive, yeah. Off the drugs, they give me wings, think I can fly, ayy. Think I can fly, ayy. Yeah, I be so high, ayy. Yeah. Welcome to Roller Roll.
Hey, yeah, way above average, bitches asking if I'm catfish. I'm just about the money and I need my diamond dance. Real pimpin' nigga, I might pull up in the caddy with your main thing. 'Cause she kept on asking for the addy, I'm a change man. Never carry more than I can manage, I say amen. But trust in God first before I panic and I go ham. Elevate the hustle for the family, been the game plan. Never will you niggas catch me lacking at all. I'm paper chasing, money chasing, yeah, I'm stacking it all. They expected me to lose, but I would never fall off. These haters try to crucify, but I was built for the cross, built for the dogs, so go to hand and tipping it all. Hey.
I've been in my zone, I've been so high, yeah. Shawty say I'm dope, come do a lie, ayy. Gelato give me wings, think I can fly, yeah. Ayy, yeah. I've been high so long, I lost my mind, yeah. Just a steelo nigga rolling through the night. Off the drink, I'm in my zone, I come alive, yeah. Off the drugs, they give me wings, think I can fly, ayy. I've been in my zone, I've been so high, yeah. Shawty say I'm dope, come do a lie, ayy. Gelato give me wings, think I can fly, yeah. Ayy, yeah. I've been high so long, I lost my mind, yeah. Just a steelo nigga rolling through the night. Off the drink, I'm in my zone, I come alive, yeah. Off them drugs, they give me wings, think I can fly, ayy.
All right, that was D Mayo with Druggy on the Writers' Room, not Breaking and Entering Radio, but we do play that song on the radio show as well. And Ben actually disclosed to me off camera. I don't know what we call it when it's a video conference. While the music video was playing.
Off the record.
Off the record, but he disclosed to me that D Mayo might be in an upcoming appearance of Mr. Nice Guy, an upcoming episode.
He sure will be, and I told him, yeah, I spilled the beans and told him, hey, we're featuring your video this week. He was so stoked, which always makes me feel good. So
yeah,
I'm happy we've been able to support him so much.
Yeah, shout out to him, and he's been on a little bit of a tear this summer. He's put out some good singles, and sounds like he's got a little bit more music in the tank for us before the end of this godforsaken year. So that will be good. I don't know. I've hit the point. I didn't bring it up at the top of the show. I have hit the point with this year where I think, like, I looked around like last weekend and I was like, you know what? I am ready for the end of this year. Let's just truck on through to the end of it. Let's get through, just maybe we should start planning our New Year's Eve parties now, because yeah. I would be stoked for that at this point. It'll be like the celebration of all celebrations. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm pretty checked out as well. It doesn't even feel like it's been a year. It just feels like this inescapable funk.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels like a just this ongoing hellscape that we're trying to like, you know, snap ourselves out of it.
Right.
But it just, you know, it's not clicking with us. Like, no, like these are the cards we're dealt with as a society, and it's up to us how we respond to it. And a lot of people are just responding so selfishly and irresponsibly, and it's prolonging this whole thing. And I mean, thankfully I'm pretty introverted, so I've been finding ways to entertain myself. But I also do miss shows.
I do miss shows, and this year I think reminds me a lot of 2016 actually, where I thought like this is gonna be the worst year ever for whatever reason. Like things didn't go well, right? It was a bad year for me, bad year for a lot of people around me. Good year for the business, good year for breaking and entering. Ironically, it was like one of our best traffic years, but everything else seemed to be like falling apart. The Cubs won the World Series. It sucked.
Actually, well, being as I'm from Chicago, I had so many friends that were absolutely like up, just like, you know, going. They were just raging. Like they took over the streets and like outside Wrigley. Like they had a whole. That was like what absolutely like, you know, it made people's years. But for people, you know, people up here, it's kind of just like, ugh, fuck the Cubs.
But yeah, that was the last year where I was like, oh my god, this year is awful. And I was like, I was surprised that it lasted so long into 2016 that I was like, this year is awful. That is like a cakewalk compared to 2020 right now. I will say we're doing a lot of good things, like us breaking and entering stuff. But like, yeah, obviously everything else around that is a little tough. Speaking of shows, we did throw a show an event this past weekend. Shout out to everybody over at the Backyard in Bayview. Shout out to Alpine and Seducer for the Fresh Air event. It was cool to see that concept finally come to life, because I don't remember what year I came up with it, but it was not this year. It was a while ago. And I wanted to do a rooftop party or some kind of outdoor day party because it wasn't really done in Milwaukee. I'd heard about it being done in like New York and LA and wherever else. And I was like, let's bring that party to Milwaukee. So I think it might be a regular thing that we do, but I don't know, because between you, me, and everybody watching at home, we did get a complaint about some of the noise coming out of the backyard. And so we shut things down a little bit early during Seducer's set, but you know, there's a lot of factors involved there. I had a good time. I was slightly intoxicated by the time that I left, if I can say that. I was gentlemanly drunk. No, I was definitely drunk, but it was a good party. A good time was had by all.
Speaking of being drunk, so last night I got pretty wasted. I had an old friend from home on the show, and those are always super fun to like just kind of like let loose and just catch up with someone you just, you know, can just pick right back up with. And yeah, we had some drinks, and I ended up ordering Uber Eats.
Oh no!
I fell asleep like waiting for the Uber Eats to get there.
Oh
and
no!
I woke up, looked at my phone. It was 5:30 in the morning, and was like, and I had like 3 missed calls and a voicemail. And I'm like, shit! I legit just drank myself silly on an empty stomach with no food. Like, I need to like,
you
my
need to find some food.
So I went outside and like, yeah, I was just sitting right outside the door, like probably for like 5 hours or whatever.
It was just, you were just ordering way in advance for yourself. You were just ordering, you gotta hit that leftovers. I will say, video conference drunk seems to hit a little bit different than regular drunk, because it's definitely happened, especially early in the pandemic. I had that happen to me. It actually happened while I was I was putting new carpet in our basement, and stopped to have a video conference with some of the guys before I was done with everything. I still had like a couple pieces left to do, and so got a little video conference drunk or Zoom drunk, whatever you want to call it, and I was like, you know what, I can finish this floor, I can knock this out. And so that being said, there's a couple pieces in our carpet tile in our basement that they don't look quite right, and there's a reason for that, and that was because I was drunk when I put them in. So I can attest, video conference drunk hits a little different. You're just so comfy because you're at home. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like at a bar drunk and be like, you know what, I'm gonna just put my pajamas on. I don't care what time or day it is. Like it's fine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there probably are bars like that do exist where, you know, like the owner has is really taking it really far with the whole laid back vibe. I'm sure that's a concept where people can come drinking in their pajamas or, you know, just.
I do remember seeing a onesie bar crawl somewhere. I was not partaking in that, but and I shouldn't, because I don't, you know, my good onesie is always at the cleaners. But I saw a onesie bar crawl happen one time that I cannot believe exists. Or like I think there was a Snuggie one time, a Snuggie bar crawl.
Yeah.
There's a bar crawl for everything. I don't know.
Oh, totally. So, but TLDR, I ate pizza at 5:30 in the morning today. That was, I mean, it was cold, but it was more just like, fuck, I need to eat. Like, I really just need to eat and put something in my stomach, otherwise I'm gonna throw up and have a miserable day today. So, yeah, that's been my day. So, yeah, you're right. I think Zoom drunk is
yeah, it hits a little bit different. I would have been up. You could have texted me. I was up at 4:30 this morning because my dog woke me up. So, because, well, my wife was going to the gym, but she left to go to the gym, and then the dog had to make sure that everybody was safe. So he needed to get out of his kennel and run around. And he woke me up, and then we had to go downstairs and check the door to make sure everything was fine. And then he went back upstairs. It's a very, very smart dog. But 4:30 in the morning, not the time.
Well, yeah, I should have hit you up, had you over for some pizza.
It would have been perfect. I could have walked the dog. It would have been great. I don't know how we got onto this, but in the meantime, the Milwaukee music scene has been doing great.
Yeah, meanwhile, our weekly coverage, yeah, it's been, you know, just so mind-boggling, like, how much has been coming out and how much, like, we've had to just, like, you know, compartmentalize, and, you know, it feels good. I think that, like, you know, there's been some really good records that have been out, and, you know, the last week, you know, I did get around to listening to Spade's new album, and it's fantastic.
I was just going to say, that album is surprisingly very, very good. Well, not surprisingly, I shouldn't say that. It's very good. I'm surprised that his second album of the year is so good. Because he put out Full Deck Baby earlier in March. And I can't remember if it hit our website this week or last, but that album, start to finish, is good. It mixes that like Milwaukee like slap sound, which I've grown up with now, I can say. And it mixes that with some substance. We got some great records over the weekend. Some new stuff that came out. We got a new video from BU that came out that I wasn't expecting. That's like a teaser from his upcoming EP. A lot of good stuff in the works for this Friday as well too. I have heard that You Win is putting out their first single, which is the duo of Amanda Huff and This Random Machine. And then also this Friday, we're getting the first single from a live album from Sister Strings and Peter Mulvey, So that was a cool one. I actually got to talk to them earlier today. That came out. They recorded that literally right before the pandemic. So I don't know if I'm giving that away, but it's coming out Friday.
There is a lot. It's just spilling out on Friday. We got another new song from Finisca Ray. We've got Trace's album will be available on Friday. We've got what else? Keegan Call to Ben 43 is dropping a new song.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, it's the Fridays are always like our most like hectic days.
Yeah, and I think that having a couple weeks ago, Friday was September 11th, so that kind of in effect loses a release Friday for some people, because I think a lot of people didn't want to have that as their release date. Looks bad on Spotify to say that you put out a song that day or whatever. So because of that, the next couple weekends have kind of been stacked because of that. Let's get into a video real quick from somebody else that we recently featured on the website, and I had no idea how big these guys were either, from Dreamhouse. The song is called Closer to Comfort. Really, really stoked on this one too, and it's a great song and a really, really great video too. So Dreamhouse, the song's called Closer to Comfort. It's on the Writers' Room.
She's been
been dreaming of a better life, and what's left to find if I'm just living to survive? Months turn into years, but I'm still waiting here. Oh, the love that I left behind, no one to blame but myself this time. I will take back what is mine, my every reason to be alive. She was brave, starting out, but the
right, that was the new video from Dreamhouse. That was Closer to Comfort. Really love the sound of that band, and I think that's because I've grown up on so much like pop punk and emo, and my wife's a huge Paramore fan, so like in my head I go right to Paramore on that. Really, really love what they're doing. I do have to give a real quick shout out. I just thought about it. We were just talking about new Milwaukee music. I got a great mail day this week. I got the brand new record, the test pressing of the new record from Tox One, which is coming out. I think it's coming out beginning of October. I know he told me, and I'm forgetting offhand. He also sent over this brand new T-shirt that I will be rocking on a future episode of the Writers' Room at some point. We got, what else we got? We got a cassette that he sent over. We got stickers. We got all sorts of stuff. Thanks for the care package on that. Super, super dope. I feel like a YouTuber now, showing you like my like shopping haul.
Oh yeah, speaking of which. So as I've been mentioning in the past, in our past meetups, I've been buying a lot of Milwaukee merch myself. I'm wearing a Kendraplex T-shirt that just arrived.
There you go.
Kendraplex is a that's the whole shirt.
Super dope.
She is a like an experimental artist in the DIY scene who makes like a lot of like pretty awesome like neo-psych improvs that have some like black metal feels to it as well, and she's doing something completely different than like anyone else, and
yeah,
big shout out to Kendraplex. And then I also have one of the most hated people in Milwaukee was so kind enough to stop by.
Oh God, never mind. Stop the show. We're done here. Oh God.
Ben, get that shit out of here.
Get it out of here. We don't tolerate this schlubbery stuff.
Yeah,
Schlubbery, whatever.
I misplaced my Schlee beanie that she was so kind enough to give me last year at her show. I don't know where it's at. Hopefully it'll turn up one day. But I had to reinvest in the Schlee merch. So
okay.
Got a hoodie.
Very cool. And I look forward to booing her like we always do. I have to say, it felt good to boo DJ Alpine for the first time in months. It felt good to see him. Don't get me wrong. It felt good to see him.
It feels like home. It feels like home.
It did feel like the world was a little bit back to normal for just that little bit that I could boo Alpine again. It was one of my small like take pride in this kind of moments. Quick aside, the first time that we like really started booing Alpine, like it started to catch on at Big Beat MKE, I think the first year. And we were doing it every week. For some reason, we would just boo Alpine every time that Twan Mac introduced him. And he obviously takes it all in stride, and it's a joke with us and whatever. But Twan Mac was not aware of it. And so, a couple weeks in of us booing him, it started getting pretty noticeably loud, and, like, people in the crowd were just booing him because they thought that they were supposed to. And Twan just looked back at all of us and was just like, oh, you guys are bogus for doing this to the DJ, like, and he had no idea that was, like, we weren't booing him, like, sincerely, like, we were just kidding and just, like, totally messing around, but, long story short, it felt good to boo Alpine again, and it's a thing that I take pride in doing.
Oh, yeah, like, what I give to just, like, roast him on the spot again one day. I miss roasting him. He looks like backyard basketball.
He looks like backyard basketball is a good one. Man,
he looks like a kid he looks like the first kid you pick in backyard basketball.
Oh yeah, no, he 1000% is. But he's like the kid that like you tell him not to shoot the outside jumper, like you put him underneath the basket and be like, catch the rebound and throw it out to the kid that can shoot. That is what you get out of that.
And he'll just be so salty about it the whole time, but you're the one telling him what to do, so he has no choice.
It was also weird to see him in like real shoes and not flip flops for like the first time in like forever, probably a year plus. So, you know, I guess whatever. I don't know. We've talked way too much about Alpine and Schley. Who cares about them? Who needs them?
Yeah, we gave them way too much airtime.
Oh, God. No. No one should ever follow them on Instagram or anything.
Don't do it.
Real quick, I do want to also give a shout out to Twitch, which is the platform that we're doing this live on. And if you're watching this later on Facebook or YouTube, you should watch us every week on Twitch on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, because they just announced for the first time in a long, in their history, there is more non-gaming content on Twitch than there is actual video game content. And if you didn't know, Twitch started off as a video game streamers channel, and I would like to think that it's because of the success of this show. Clearly, Ben and I are the reason that there's more music content than anything else on Twitch.
We have single-handedly.
We are basically music influencers on Twitch. I mean, it is kind of cool to see that aside from so there's only a couple channels up at the top bar of Twitch, up there for those watching right now. There is esports, and then there's music now next to it, and that wasn't always the case. And so again, I gotta say, it's because of the writer's room. Clearly, that is why. But
I think credit is overextended.
Obviously.
So that is cool though that Twitch has been. I mean, just as Zoom obviously has been how our communication interfaces are just shifting into something that everyone can utilize in their own way. That is cool to see.
Yeah. So I think that as time goes on, we're going to see more music content on Twitch. We're going to start using it more for sure. We're going to figure out some ways to do some stuff. So if you aren't following us on Twitch, this is my shameless plug to be go follow us right now on Twitch. We'll do more DJ sets and cool things in the near future. Maybe you'll just catch us hanging out, drinking, watching music videos sometime. That'll be a thing. Which would be this show just with alcohol, I guess.
Which I'd be open to. I thought about introducing the idea. Why don't we drink for this? I mean, it's our weekly hangout, so.
That is true. We can get Zoom drunk. It can happen. There we go. With that, let's get into a music video. So also we got to give a quick shout out to After Hour Animals, who just put out something as well. This new video is from Armon Hassan, who is part of the group, right, Ben?
Yeah.
I always forget.
They have this really awesome duality in After Our Animals where they trade off vocals, but Nick Voigt is kind of the more level-headed and honest and composed singer, and then Armon is the more shrieking and frantic and out of control side of the confrontations in their songs, and they just have a really awesome dynamic there.
And they get to both do stuff as solo acts, which sound very different from that too. So, With that said, let's get into a brand new video from Armon Hassan. This is Rebel on the Writer's Room.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I don't want any trouble, man.
You sure about that? Hey! Didn't your mom ever tell you to say please?
I said I don't want any trouble, man.
Hey, hey, babe, it's not worth it.
Now listen, oh, come on. Hey! Not like this. Tonight, the
person to hold me. None of y'all really got to even know me. These pills got me feeling real lonely. I know they've been killing me. Broken inside, but they don't see inside. Pain on my mind while I whip in my ride. Empty bedside, now I feel dead inside. Broken, I've been, but I've been cast aside. Crashing, rebel without a cause. Who can I blame when I'm the one with the flaws? Crashing, rebel without a cause. Who can I blame when I'm the one with the flaws? Yeah, run through a pack, hate myself, yeah that's a fact. Going on around, stopping from town after town. Drink till I drown, wish I could make you proud. Wish I could scream it loud in the crowd, but I keep my head down to the ground, safe and sound. Broken inside, but they don't see inside. Pain on my mind while I whip in my ride. Empty bedside, now I feel dead inside. Broken, I've been, but I've been cast aside. Crashing, rebel without a cause. Who can I blame when I'm the one with the flaws? Crashing, rebel without a cause. Who can I blame when I'm the one with the flaws? Crashing, rebel without a cause. Who can I blame when I'm the one with the flaws? Crashing, rebel without a cause. Who can I blame when I'm the one with the flaws? Crashing, 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 crashing.
All right, that was Rebel by Armon Hassan. Shout out to them. Shout out to After Hour Animals. I didn't realize Nick Voin makes a small appearance in that video too, as part of the dramatic fight scene. Really, really like what the band is doing and the individual efforts as well. It's very, very cool to see that from them. With that said, that is it for this episode of The Writer's Room. We always go with a little bit of parting words. I will go first today because I'm totally making this up on the fly, and that's fine. But that's usually what I think we end up doing, is making up the wisdom on the fly. But I do got to say, I got to do an interview this week with, or last week with Kelsey Kaufman from Cactus Club. And some of you may know that I write for the Shepherd Express as well. And so we got to put it out there. I do want to say, like, continue this this fight to keep our independent venues open, them as well as X-Ray Arcade in Cudahy. I know that we harp on that a lot on this show, but there's a change.org petition right now to get state funding available. If you feel like it, you can read the piece on Shepherd Express about Kelsey's journey as a venue owner. But to make a long story short, there are other states right now that are getting funding from their state governments for arts and entertainment grants and things like that. Like, this money has already become available in several states where they've given out thousands of dollars to their venues. Wisconsin is behind on that. Not a surprise. Wisconsin is behind on a lot of things. But if you feel obligated, if you feel like there's something, if you're a live music fan, you can go over to Cactus Club's website. I believe it's cactusclubmilwaukee.com. And you can click on the change.org petition right on the beginning, right on the homepage. It is right there. It is imperative to help independent venues and independent artists keep thriving here in Milwaukee. It not only helps Cactus Club, it helps X-Ray Arcade in Cudahy, like I said. It helps the Pabst Theater Group, which some people don't realize is an independent venue chain. There's something like 200 venues in the state of Wisconsin alone, and at least 50 plus in the city of Milwaukee proper. So make sure that you go and check out Cactus Club's website to get started, or X-Ray Arcades, I'm sure has it out there. You'll find the change.org petition for it. We can link it in the YouTube as well. So we'll do that too. make sure you go and support your independent venues. So that is my wisdom for the week. Ben, any parting words for us for this week?
Yeah. Well, speaking of independent venues, we got the unfortunate news that the Up and Under is closing after this weekend.
Yeah.
I went to a number of good shows there, and I'm gonna miss the really big cans of PBR they have. Those were special. And then it's looking like the River West Public House is, I think I saw, is likely closing as well. I know they've been in some financial trouble as a result of the pandemic and quarantine, and that's unfortunate too. I had seen a bunch of great shows there as well. It's hard. I'm kind of gonna just echo your sentiments for my weekly advice here. Is that venues are kind of dropping like flies these days.
Yeah.
With the absence of shows, and we kind of have to ask ourselves, like, what do they need from us right now? What? Because we obviously, we want those to be there on the other side when this is all over.
Yeah, and it's not guaranteed that those places will still, there's nothing saying that those places are for sure going to be open.
Right. And, I think that, we just have to take it into our own hands. In the same way, we're supporting, oh, wow, that is a stink bug crawling up my window.
Oh, no.
Well, I'll deal with that in a second. But, yeah, so, in the same way we're supporting a lot of local artists right now in ways we can, buying merch, buying physical copies of their music, just participating in, relief funds and that kind of stuff. We need to do that for, yes, the individual artists themselves, but for the venues too. If anyone can help donate to keep some of our venues alive, if you feel comfortable patronizing them right now in the capacity that they're operating under, that's another great way to do it as well.
Yep.
I know that X-Ray is, they're struggling to, they're struggling too, as, in addition to Cactus Club, and those are two of the best venues in the city. I think those two venues, have the best juxtaposition of local and touring artists in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And I would be heartbroken if either of them, didn't make it. So,
yeah.
I also, and this is something I've also been thinking about. Maybe this will mean, the music scene in another way of taking things into their own hands. Maybe when things are all over, when everything's over here, there'll be more DIY spaces popping up to kind of try to balance things out. I know that there was a handful of really renowned DIY spaces before the pandemic. Tsunami, formerly Nausicaa, for one. Fat Charlie's on the east side. Ground Zero has been around for a long time. We can expect places like that to exist.
Right.
Those will be there because those guys just love music and love shows, and have already committed themselves to that ethic. But maybe others will step up and think about what they can make DIY spaces out of.
We've seen it.
I hope to see that.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it in River West already. Just some guys with an extension cord out the window. River West Arby's.
The Arby's, right? Yeah, and there was actually another punk show. I believe it was for Eric Schultz's birthday. There was a punk show with it was with Peroxide, Holy Shit, and Primitives at another park somewhere else in the city. I don't even know where it is. But they had it was under a bridge or something.
Okay.
But they had a punk show outside for Eric's birthday. So
Very cool.
That's another. We'll probably see a lot more stuff like that.
We'll make sure, yes, for sure. Support those as well. Support the DIY scene because that brings the grittiest of underground music together. Support your independent venues as well. In the meantime, you can also check us out too. You can see us every day. We're at breakingandentering.net. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, where we are doing this live as well. Make sure you subscribe to us on Twitch if you can. We have a weekly e-newsletter that we send out. You can subscribe to that on our website. We've got a podcast. That's every Thursday that's coming out. This week we've got Kat Hamilton on from Manic Pixie. So make sure that you check that out too. That's wherever you download podcasts. Make sure you check out the Mr. Nice Guy podcast with Ben as well. It's on YouTube and just about anywhere you can get a podcast as well. He's on Spotify. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting us. We will see you next week on The Writer's Room.